And welcome to the special Times of India podcast, where we bring you insightful conversations on education, learning, and student well being. I'm Manas Pratim Guhai, and today we have a very special guest, Mr. Sanjay Kumar, Secretary of the Department of School Education and Literacy, Ministry of Education, Government of India. As we gear up for the much awaited Pariksha Pe Charcha 2025, scheduled for February 10, we take a look at the journey of this unique initiative led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Over the years, Pariksha Pe Charcha has evolved into a nationwide movement, helping students, teachers, and parents navigate exam stress with confidence. Mr. Sanjay Kumar, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
With Sadhguru, Deepika Padukone, Mary Kom, among others, this year's Pariksha Pe Charcha lineup looks impressive, featuring not just the Prime Minister but also experts from diverse fields. Could you share your thoughts on the process behind curating such a varied and dynamic panel of speakers?
Pariksha Pe Charcha has carved out a niche for itself. And every year, the school going children, especially the ones who are going to appear for class 10 and 12th board, they look forward to it and also listening to the kind of suggestions which the Honorable Prime Minister is going to give them. Everything evolves in due course of time. And the Pariksha Pe Charcha has also evolved over the last 8 years. And the Honorable Prime Minister this time felt that we should concentrate on the larger concept of well being. And when you talk about well being, it also means the kind of opportunities which is occurring in the society of which we are a part. Well being also includes nutrition. Well being also includes managing mental stress. Well being also involves knowing the kind of opportunities we have, let's say, in the emerging fields of artificial intelligence, technology, sports. Then there are celebrities who have done very well in life. And since they have reached where they are by dint of hard work, they would also want to share their experiences as to how they have reached where they are. So the Honorable Prime Minister broadened the concept of the Pariksha Pe Charcha. So the main program would be kicked off by the Honorable Prime Minister on the 10th of February at 11 a.m. But in addition to that, there are 7 more episodes, which comprises of celebrities from movies, then there are celebrities from sports, then people who have done exceptionally well in technology, then there are people who would advise us as to how nutrition is so good and so important for our well being. Then there are children who have done exceptionally well and who have been part of Pariksha Pe Charcha, suitably enthused by the kind of advice and suggestions they heard from the Honorable Prime Minister. So they will also be sharing their view as to what made them do so well and how they have managed their own life and reduced stress levels. So this is, I think, the broader concept which has gone into making of the Pariksha Pe Charcha 8th edition this year. But I must say that conceptualized and envisioned by the Honorable Prime Minister.
Sir, highlighting the achievements of individuals from non academic backgrounds is a powerful move to challenge the bias against vocational and skill based education. What is your take on this approach and its potential to change mindsets?
It all emanates from the National Education Policy. The National Education Policy 2020, it broadens the outcomes, the kind of things which you can do with education. Education does not only mean doing well in academics. Education means doing well in whichever field or sector you decide to work. You may be a very skilled worker. You may become a very fine actor. You may become a very good technologist, or you may become extremely good in sports. So, the national education policy says that we need to look at all these things in a very holistic manner, be it art, culture, science, humanities, sports. All these things are part of the school curriculum. Earlier, there used to be things which used to be extracurricular. Now, the extracurricular has become the main part of the curriculum. So, doing well in life, irrespective of the field you may be in, is extremely important. And we want to highlight all kinds of sectors where you can do well and make children come face to face with people who have excelled in those fields.
This will be the 8th edition of Pariksha Pe Charchas. So, have you noticed a shift in how exams are perceived today compared to when you were a student? And what do you think has driven that change?
You know, I took the exam in 1980 and 1982, so it almost seems quite ancient. But over the period, you know, the demand and supply has also changed. We have far too many options open today as compared to the kind of options we had when we were giving examination. You know, there used to be only engineering or medicine, but today there are a host of opportunities available to our children in the evolving economy of which India is a part and India is also leading it. So today the opportunities are very, very different.
What actionable strategies can schools adopt to integrate the key lessons from Pariksha Pe Charcha throughout the academic year and not just during the exam time?
You know, I always have maintained that there is absolutely no alternative to hard work, and there's also no alternative to working consistently. So, examinations come at the end of a particular period, but you study all throughout. And I think if you study all throughout and you are absolutely consistent in what you are studying, it stays in your mind. So, I think work hard, work consistently, make notes, and also revise as and when it is suitable for you. But leaving everything to the end of the semester when the exams are going to take place may not be a very good idea. So I always tell people that, you know, if you're in working consistently, if you're in working hard all throughout, then I think examination just becomes an event which you are where you're going to do well.
Right. And what advice would you offer to students to effectively manage exam stress, especially even if they are prepared or not prepared? The stress is always there for various factors, and to maintain a healthy approach to their studies.
Stress is an integral part of life. I think to say that stress will not be there may not be the right thing to say. But the basic idea is that how do we manage stress and how do we use that stress to do better? So that must be kept in mind. Examination at the end of a semester or the end of the year is not the end all of life. You know, life gives us many opportunities. But while I say this, I also am conscious of the fact that as and when we appear for an exam, we have to do well. And we will do well provided we keep the importance of that particular examination in perspective. If we work regularly, if we work consistently, if we try and pay attention in class, try and understand the concept, life is going to be easy. You know, the National Education Policy 2020, it is actually telling us that we must move away by learning by rote. It talks about experiential learning. It talks about developing a scientific culture. It talks about developing the critical faculty of students where every student is able to think. So concepts become more important. Remembering data, remembering information is not all that important. And if you can understand the concepts and if you are trained to apply it, then you will find that writing an exam is very easy. The National Education Policy 2020 also says that we need to change our assessment. And you know, I have always maintained that how you learn, what you learn, the way you learn, to a very large extent is dependent on the way you are assessed. So, assessment is also changing. It is becoming more experiential, more critical, where you must understand the concepts and apply that concepts while you are answering questions. This way, I think there is much less pressure on you to remember and to be able to recall. But yes, what you learn and the way you are assessed, both things must change simultaneously. And this is what we are trying to do.
There will be an episode where the board toppers will be interacting with students in this Pariksha Pe Charcha. So we'll get to know about their feedback and and the impact of the event on them. But there are much more feedback that the ministry has been receiving from students, parents, and educators about the impact of previous editions. So we would like to know the kind of feedbacks you are getting on the event and how it has impacted their in general.
First of all, these students who have done very well in examinations, they also become our role model. They have been part of PPC. They have heard the Honorable Prime Minister's advice. They have heard what Prime Minister has had to say to them regarding managing stress, increasing their well-being, and they have done exceptionally well. So, for many of us, they are the role models. We would want to hear their experiences as to how they have done well. And I think Pariksha Pe Charcha has evolved over a period of time. When we started in the year 2018, we had 8 lakh people who had registered for it. This year, 3.56 crore children, students, parents and community members, teachers have registered for it. So you can see the growing demand for Pariksha Pe Charcha, and this demand itself relates that people find it meaningful, people find it something which is very useful, not only to them, to their students, to their children, and the teachers find it very, very instructive as to how they should teach while they are in the classrooms. So I think the growing demand and the kind of traction PPC has developed over the years, to a very large extent, it also conveys the impact it is having on student community, teachers community, and parents all over the country. There are children, parents, and teachers who are from each and every state, even from abroad. I think all states are represented. Almost all state school boards are represented in a very, very fair manner. So I think that itself conveys that people find it useful and they look forward to this intervention and interaction with the Honorable Prime Minister.
As the exam approach, household often shift into mission mode to provide the best environment for their wards. How would you describe the role of parents and guardians in shaping a student's mindset and success during exams?
My message to the parents would be to be very considerate and very understanding. Sometimes we as parents, we have very unreasonable demands. We expect that our children would be at the top. Of course, it is very legitimate to have that expectation, but one should not force it in a manner which becomes a little unreasonable. We should be understanding, provide an environment to our children in which the child finds very comfortable and learns at his pace, but we should also ensure that not everything should be left only for the examination. Their examination is at the end of the year, but before the examination, we have the entire period. So we should make use of that. Slow and steady always leads to memory.
We have to understand with a record breaking 3.56 crore registrations. What are some of the unique challenges you face in organizing such a large scale event? How do you run it so smoothly, and what are the challenges you face?
See, first of all, let me tell you that 3.56 crore students, teachers, and parents have registered. During the run up to the Pariksha Pe Charcha, we had a period starting from 12th January to 23rd January. That is starting from Swami Vivekanand's birthday to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's birthday. In this period, we did several activities in our schools. And we found that more than 1.5 crore students, teachers participated in it. So actually, if you look at the total participation, it is almost about 5 crore students, teachers, and parents who have participated in Pariksha Pe Charcha. This program has become iconic because of the Honorable Prime Minister's association with it. It has generated a fair amount of goodwill amongst all. We had reached out to all these states. We asked them to reach out to all these schools, let them know about it. I must also take this opportunity to thank the MyGov platform, which is a very robust platform. And through this platform, we reach out to all the stakeholders. So the success of the program generates the kind of enthusiasm that more and more people want to be a part of it. And I must say that we only facilitated it and everyone came forward. And I think we've had this outcome and result.
So we just heard Mr. Sanjay Kumar, Secretary, School Education and Literacy, speaking about the Pariksha Pe Charcha as the event is going to unfold before us on February 10th.